I am Dakota Mills, 31 years old, and I never imagined my own family would stab me in the back like this. I was checking my bank app when an alert hit my screen. Suspicious activity on my account. I opened it thinking it was a glitch, but there it was, a loan for $50,000 approved in my name, one I never requested. The details showed my social security number, and the cosigner was my sister. The mailing address led straight to my parents' place in suburban Atlanta, Georgia. This couldn't be real. I called my father immediately. "Dad, what's going on with this loan?" I asked, keeping my tone firm despite the rage building inside. He hesitated, then laughed it off. "It's nothing major. We needed funds for some home fixes. Thought you'd be okay with it since we're family." Okay with it? They had used my identity without permission, putting my credit at risk. My mother chimed in. "Sweetie, calm down. Your sister took care of the forms. We'll sort it out soon." I hung up and ran a full credit check. Multiple inquiries from unknown lenders, all linked back to them. They had always treated my sister better, handing her opportunities while I fought for everything. After 5 years of no contact, this fraud felt like the ultimate slap. I had to dig deeper and make them face the consequences. If you faced family betrayal like this, share your story in the comments. Where are you tuning in from? Smash that subscribe button to see how I flipped the script and held them accountable. I contacted the bank first thing the next morning to dispute the loan. The customer service rep walked me through the process, confirming the application had my details, but originated from an IP address in my parents' neighborhood. "This looks like potential fraud," she said. "We'll freeze the account and start an investigation." I filed a formal complaint with the credit bureaus, two requesting a fraud alert on my reports. As I waited for the paperwork to process, memories flooded back of how my family had always put my sister first. From an early age, she got the new clothes and private lessons while I wore hand-me-downs and taught myself coding basics on a library computer. My parents praised her every minor achievement, but dismissed mine as expected. By high school, I was working after-school jobs to save for community college, aiming for a software engineering degree while they paid for her full ride at a state university. That favoritism stung even more now with this financial betrayal on top. I decided to dig into their motives and pulled up old family emails from years ago. One thread from when I moved out showed my mother complaining about my ungrateful attitude for not contributing to household bills, even though I was barely scraping by. Another revealed they had borrowed against the family home multiple times to fund my sister's lifestyle upgrades, like her mid-sized sedan and apartment deposit. It hit me they were in debt up to their eyes, and using my clean credit was their desperate fix. I called my sister directly that afternoon. "Why drag me into your mess?" I asked, skipping pleasantries. She sighed. "Come on, it's not like that. Mom and Dad needed help, and your score is perfect. We'll pay it back." Pay it back. Their track record said otherwise. As the conversation dragged on, she let slip a twist that floored me. "Besides, Grandma left more than you know," she said casually. "We handled some accounts quietly to avoid taxes." Wait, what? Our grandmother had passed 5 years earlier, leaving me a small inheritance I used to buy my condo in downtown Atlanta. But now it sounded like they had hidden assets from her estate, siphoning funds meant for both of us. I pressed for details, but she backpedaled. "Forget I said that. Just drop the dispute, okay?" No way. This wasn't just a loan scam, it was a deeper family secret involving possible estate fraud. I hung up and started researching Georgia inheritance laws online, noting how to request probate records. My gut twisted with anger, but I focused on building a case. Next, I reached out to Holden Reyes, an old college friend who had become a lawyer specializing in financial disputes. "Holden, I need your advice," I said when he picked up. My family pulled some shady stuff with my identity. He listened as I outlined the loan and the hinted estate issue. "Sounds like identity theft and potential embezzlement," he replied. "We can file a police report and sue for damages. Get me copies of everything." His calm expertise steadied me. Meanwhile, I confided in Jade Tran, my closest friend from work, who offered to help review my financial logs. "This is messed up," she said over coffee, "but we'll nail them." Little did I know her sympathy was a twist that would unravel later. For now, I concentrated on gathering evidence, scanning bank statements for more red flags. The investigation revealed another layer. My credit report showed 2 more unauthorized inquiries from the past month tied to credit cards in my name with my parents' address as the billing location. One had already racked up charges for home repairs and luxury items totaling over $10,000. I disputed those, immediately providing affidavits to the issuers. Internally, the drama churned, recalling holidays where my sister got lavish gifts while I received practical items like socks. My parents always justified it as her needing more support, but it bred resentment I had buried deep. Now it fueled my resolve. I met Holden at his office midweek to review options. "We can pursue a civil lawsuit for fraud," he explained, "and if the estate angle checks out, that's grounds for a countersuit." He suggested hiring a private investigator for the probate details, estimating costs at around $5,000, but promising it would pay off. With Holden's guidance, I filed the initial police report that evening, detailing the loan and cards as identity theft under Georgia law. The officer took notes seriously. "We'll look into it," he assured me. "Family cases like this often uncover more." Back home, I pored over grandmother's old letters, finding one mentioning additional trusts she set up for fairness. That confirmed my suspicion they had concealed parts of the inheritance to benefit themselves. The betrayal cut deeper, mixing old hurts with fresh outrage. I texted Jade for moral support. "This is getting intense," I wrote. She replied quickly, "Hang in there, I'm here." Her words felt genuine then, but the twist loomed. As night fell, I prepared for the inevitable family confrontation, knowing the annual dinner was just weeks away. My plan was forming: confront them with facts, not emotion, and let the law handle the rest. The annual family dinner invitation came via text from my mother 2 days after I filed the report. "Let's catch up this Saturday." It read as if nothing was wrong. I agreed, seeing it as the perfect chance to confront them face to face with the evidence Holden had helped compile. On the drive to their house in the suburbs, I rehearsed my lines, my mind racing with fresh resentment from childhood slights, like the time my sister got a lavish Sweet 16 party while I celebrated my birthday with a store-bought cake and no guests. My parents had always excused it as her being more social, but it left me feeling invisible. Now their fraud amplified that old wound, turning it into fuel for the showdown. I arrived early, documents in a folder tucked under my arm, ready to lay it all out. They greeted me with forced smiles, my father clapping me on the back. "Good to see you, kiddo," he said. "Dinner's almost ready." My mother hugged me tightly. "We've missed you so much." My sister was already at the table, scrolling her phone. We sat down to eat, the conversation starting light work updates, neighborhood gossip. But I couldn't hold back long. Midway through the main course, I pulled out the credit report printouts. "We need to talk about this," I said flatly, sliding them across. "The loan, the cards, all in my name without permission." My father froze mid-bite. "We already discussed this. It's family business." My mother shot him a look. "Honey, we're sorting it. No need to blow it up." But my sister smirked. "You're overreacting again, like always." The argument escalated fast. I demanded they admit to the identity theft and agree to repay everything. "This is illegal," I pressed. "I've got the police involved." My father leaned forward, voice low. "You wouldn't turn on your own blood." That's when the twist hit. My sister blurted out, "Grandma's extra funds covered most of it anyway. We deserved our share." Extra funds. It clicked with the letter hints. They had diverted inheritance money into secret accounts, using it to bail out their debts before forging my info for more. My blood boiled, recalling how they once forgot my college graduation because my sister's job interview conflicted. You stole from her estate too, I snapped. That's embezzlement. My mother teared up. It was for the family. You were doing fine on your own. I called Holden from the bathroom during a tense break, whispering the new revelation. They admitted to hiding inheritance assets, I said. Can we add that to the lawsuit? He confirmed it strengthened the case. Yes, under Georgia probate fraud statutes. Record if you can. Back at the table, I switched my phone to voice memo discreetly. Repeat what you said about Grandma's money, I urged. My sister hesitated, then doubled down. We moved some trusts around legally. It's not your concern. Legally. Their casual tone ignited deeper fury, echoing years of them dismissing my efforts like when I landed my first software job, and they credited luck instead of my hard work. The dinner devolved into shouts, my father accusing me of selfishness. After all we've done for you, he yelled. As I stormed out, my mother followed, pleading, Don't do this. We're family. I shook my head. Family doesn't commit fraud. Driving away, I texted Jade about the blow-up. They confessed to more than the loan-hidden estate money. Her reply came quick. Wow, that's huge. Meet tomorrow to strategize. I agreed, unaware of the betrayal brewing. Holden called later, outlining next steps. We'll petition for estate records tomorrow. This could lead to a full audit. The night's events stirred unresolved pain from being the overlooked kid, always proving myself while my sister coasted. But it sharpened my focus time to escalate legally and expose the full scheme. The following day, I met Jade at a coffee shop to debrief. They think they can justify it all, I vented. She nodded sympathetically. Sounds awful. What now? As we talked, she suggested reaching out to a mutual contact for advice. But something felt off in her questions, too probing about my evidence. I brushed it aside, sharing details on the probate angle. Later, Holden and I filed the court motion for inheritance disclosure, citing Georgia's Uniform Probate Code for transparency in contested estates. The clerk processed it efficiently. This should move fast, Holden said. Internally, the drama peaked with a new twist. Reviewing my phone logs, I spotted unfamiliar calls from my sister's number to Jade's dated before the dinner. My heart raced. Was my friend involved? The suspicion added layers to the hurt, reminding me of past isolations when my family sidelined me from decisions. I scheduled a follow-up with Holden the morning after spotting those calls, laying out the suspicious connections between my sister and Jade. Check this out, I said, showing him the log screenshots. He scanned them quickly. This could mean your friend is feeding them info. We need to verify before confronting. We decided to run a background check on Jade through his firm's Resources Legal under Georgia's privacy laws for active fraud cases. The report came back that afternoon, revealing she had received wire transfers from my parents' account, small sums labeled as consulting fees. The betrayal slammed into me like a gut punch, stirring up echoes of family exclusions, where my sister always got the insider scoop on decisions that affected me, leaving me out in the cold. I confronted Jade over the phone that evening. Why the secret calls with my sister? I asked point blank. She stammered. What? Oh, that was just casual chat. Her denial crumbled when I mentioned the transfers. Those were loans they repaid, she claimed weakly. I was helping them navigate the paperwork. Helping them. It dawned on me she had assisted in the fraud setup, perhaps even suggesting my name for the applications. The twist deepened the sting. Jade wasn't just a bystander. She had actively conspired, motivated by her own financial troubles, I vaguely recalled from our talks. You're supposed to be my friend, I shot back. This crosses every line. She hung up after muttering apologies, but the damage was done. Holden advised cutting contact. Document everything she could be a witness or defendant now. Internally, the drama intensified, blending this fresh deceit with old memories of my parents prioritizing my sister's crises over mine, like when they bailed her out of a bad investment while ignoring my pleas for startup help in my career. We expanded the lawsuit draft to include conspiracy charges citing Georgia's civil racketeering statutes for organized fraud. Holden pulled in Kendall Soto, a forensic accountant he trusted to analyze the wire trails. "Kendall, run these through your software," he instructed during our meeting. She nodded. "I'll trace the flows back to the estate accounts." Her initial scan uncovered another twist. My family had set up offshore holdings in my grandmother's name, funneling inheritance portions there to evade reporting. This violated federal tax laws, potentially escalating to IRS involvement. "We can file for discovery on these," Kendall said. The revelation fueled my resolve, contrasting sharply with past instances where my achievements, like earning my engineering certification through night classes, went unacknowledged, while my sister's promotions sparked family celebrations. I pushed Holden to accelerate. "Let's hit them with the full complaint soon." The next step involved serving preliminary notices legal under state rules to preserve evidence. I drafted affidavits detailing the calls and transfers, swearing them before a notary midweek. My mother called unexpectedly that night. "Why are you dragging this out?" she demanded. "Drop the police stuff, we can talk it over." Her plea rang hollow, reminding me of times she mediated family disputes, but always sided with my sister, dismissing my side as over-emotional. "No more talks," I replied. "See you in court." Holden reviewed the notices. "These will freeze their assets temporarily," he explained. Kendall added, "I've got patterns showing systematic diversion enough for a strong claim." The buildup stirred a storm of emotions rooted in years of feeling secondary, like when my parents funded my sister's wedding extravagantly, but contributed nothing to my modest home purchase. As we finalized the filing strategy, a new twist emerged from Kendall's deeper dive. My father had used company resources from his old job to mask the transactions, risking corporate fraud charges. "This ties into embezzlement," she warned. "We might loop in the DA." Holden agreed. "It bolsters our case for damages." I met them at the office to sign off the paperwork, stacking up like armor against the betrayal. My sister's text arrived then. "You're ruining everything, back off." Her threat only hardened me, echoing childhood taunts, where she belittled my ambitions as nerdy hobbies, while my parents nodded along. "File it all," I told Holden. The process moved swiftly, with the court clerk stamping our motion for an injunction against further asset moves. With the legal wheels turning, I focused on personal safeguards, changing all my account passwords and enabling two-factor authentication. Jade tried calling, but I blocked her number. Holden suggested therapy for the emotional toll. "This stuff digs up old wounds," he said. I nodded, admitting the constant reminders of being the family afterthought, like missing out on vacations because funds were tight after spoiling my sister. Kendall wrapped her report. "Ready for submission, this exposes the whole network." The anticipation built, mixing dread with empowerment as I prepared for their response to the served papers. The served papers arrived at my parents' door via certified mail the next week, triggering an immediate backlash. My father called first, his voice booming through the speaker. "What is this crap you're suing us now?" I stayed calm. "It's the consequence of your actions. Fraud doesn't just vanish." He ranted about family loyalty, but I cut him off. "Loyalty? Like when you let my sister take the lead on everything, leaving me to fend alone." The line went silent before he hung up. My mother followed up via email, begging for a meeting to clear the air. I forwarded it to Holden without responding. Kendall's final analysis landed that same day, pinpointing exact dates of the offshore transfers tied to my grandmother's death anniversary. A cruel irony that reignited fury over how they had manipulated her legacy while I grieved solo. My efforts to honor her dismissed as unnecessary. We amended the complaint to include federal claims under the Bank Secrecy Act for unreported foreign accounts. The court granted the temporary injunction, swiftly freezing their bank holdings pending review. My sister showed up unannounced at my office, demanding entry. "This stops now," she said through the intercom. "You're destroying Dad's retirement." I met her in the lobby. Retirement built on stolen money. Her eyes narrowed. You always played the victim. Remember when we covered your rent that one time? That one time was a grudging $100 after I lost my internship, contrasted with the thousands they showered on her failed ventures. The encounter turned heated. Admit it, you helped Jade set this up, I accused. She flinched, but denied it. She's just a mutual friend. Mutual. The twist sharpened when Holden texted mid-argument. A subpoena response showed Jade's signed affidavit supporting their side, claiming I had verbally approved the loan. Betrayal layered on betrayal, echoing family patterns where alliances formed against me like group decisions, excluding my input on holidays. I rushed to Holden's office after slamming the folder down. Jade flipped, "How do we counter?" He reviewed the document. "We depose her under oath. Inconsistencies will crack it." Kendall joined via video. "Her transfers match the fraud timeline. We can impeach her credibility." We prepped interrogatories that night, focusing on Georgia's perjury penalties to pressure her. Internally, the drama surged, with recollections of being the family outsider, my parents consulting my sister on major choices like selling our childhood home without looping me in. My resolve peaked. This wasn't just recovery, but exposure. Holden filed for an expedited hearing. "This pushes them to settle or fold," he said. My sister's text threats later. "You'll regret this." I saved it as evidence, the words fueling a quiet determination born from years of overlooked resilience. The deposition notice went out, scheduling Jade for questioning under oath. She called me panicked. "Please withdraw it. I didn't mean to get involved this deep," I pressed. "Then tell the truth about the setup." She admitted partial involvement. "Your parents promised to cut me in on the estate split." Estate split. The new twist unfolded. They had forged a codicil to my grandmother's will, claiming additional verbal instructions, favoring them hidden in a safety deposit box. "They showed me scans," Jade confessed. Scans. This violated probate integrity laws in Georgia, opening doors to criminal referrals. Holden jumped on it. "We subpoena the box contents." The revelation hit hard, stirring pain from when they downplayed my bond with grandmother, crediting my sister as the real caretaker, despite my frequent visits. We rushed an emergency motion to seize the box, citing tampering risks. Court approval came fast for the seizure, with a sheriff escorting us to the bank. Inside the box, we found the forged codicil amateur alterations, dated post-death, easily debunked by Kendall's handwriting analysis. "This is slam-dunk evidence," she said. Holden prepared to add forgery counts to the suit. My father emailed desperately, "Let's mediate, no courts." I ignored it, the plea ringing false against a lifetime of preferential treatment that left me building walls early. Jade cracked fully in her deposition prep call with Holden. "I'll testify against them for immunity," she offered. We accepted her flip, weakening their defense. The buildup created a whirlwind of emotions rooted in long-standing dismissal, like my innovative projects at work overlooked in family chats, while my sister's routine updates stole the spotlight. Victory felt closer, but the family rift widened irreversibly. As filings mounted, my mother attempted one last outreach through a mutual acquaintance. "She wants peace." The contact relayed. I declined. "Peace requires accountability." Holden confirmed the hearing date. 2 weeks, we present everything. Kendall's expert report sealed the offshore links to embezzlement, qualifying for treble damages under state fraud statutes. The twist with the codicil exposed their long-game plan, amplifying the hurt from being perpetually undervalued. My independent successes, like leading a dev team project, never earning the pride they gave my sister's minor wins. I geared up for testimony, practicing with Holden. "Stay factual," he coached. My sister's final voicemail pleaded, "Think of the family." I deleted it, the words hollow against the mounting proof of their schemes. The hearing unfolded in the Atlanta courthouse 2 weeks later, with Holden presenting our evidence stack methodically. The judge reviewed Kendall's forensic breakdowns, nodding at the timelines linking the forgeries to my family's accounts. My sister took the stand, first her testimony crumbling under cross-examination. "We thought it was fair redistribution," she muttered when pressed on the codicil changes. Holden countered with the analysis showing digital timestamps post-dating grandmother's passing invalid under Georgia's will contest rules. My father glared from the gallery, his earlier bluster gone. The internal storm raged, flashes of him coaching my sister through interviews while brushing off my resume tweaks as trivial. Jade testified next, her immunity deal, forcing honesty. They recruited me to monitor her finances. She admitted avoiding my eyes. The admissions sealed their conspiracy claim, amplifying the hurt from trusted bonds, shattered much like family ties that always bent toward favoritism. The defense attorney scrambled, arguing emotional distress from family rifts, but the judge dismissed it. "This is clear-cut fraud," he ruled, granting summary judgment in our favor. We secured full restitution over $70,000 in damages plus legal fees, enforceable via wage garnishment under state civil enforcement laws. My mother approached during recess, whispering, "Can't we end this privately?" I shook my head. Too late for that. Her plea echoed empty promises from my youth, like vowing equal treatment after yet another slight, only to repeat the cycle. A fresh twist surfaced in closing arguments. Holden revealed intercepted emails showing my parents had pitched the scheme to extended relatives, risking broader liability. The judge ordered a referral to the district attorney for criminal review, citing potential felony theft charges. Victory surged through me, a counter to years of being the sidelined sibling whose independence they mocked as rebellion. Post-hearing, we enforced the judgment through court-ordered asset sales, liquidating their secondary vehicle to cover initial payments. My sister emailed a half-hearted apology. "Didn't mean for it to blow up like this." I forwarded it to Holden without reply, the words stirring disdain rooted in memories of her claiming family perks as her due while my hard-earned stability went unrecognized. Kendall wrapped her involvement with a final audit. "Everything traces back cleanly, no loose ends." Holden high-fived me outside. "You owned this." The win felt cathartic, transforming buried grievances like my promotions met with indifference, while my sister's minor wins prompted calls into tangible justice. I filed for a no-contact order next legal under Georgia's protective statutes for harassment tied to the case, severing ties formally. The DA's office contacted us mid-month confirming indictments for identity theft and forgery with arraignment set. My father tried one last call. "You're breaking us, think about Mom." I let it go to voicemail, the manipulation mirroring past guilts over family unity that always meant conceding to their whims. Another twist emerged from the audit hidden joint, accounts in my name from childhood, drained without consent, adding restitution claims. We pursued them via small claims court for efficiency. The process empowered me, contrasting sharply with earlier isolations where my opinions on shared matters like inheritance discussions were overridden. Holden negotiated a settlement addendum. They'll pay monthly or face liens. I signed off the structure, ensuring compliance without further interaction. As payments started trickling in, I channeled the funds into a personal trust, securing my future against similar threats. My mother sent a letter through her lawyer expressing regret. "We never valued you enough." I shredded it, the sentiment too late, against a lifetime of preferential treatment that left me building walls early. Kendall offered pro bono help for ongoing monitoring. "Keep tabs on their compliance," she advised. The closure hit deep, unearthing final resentments like family gatherings, where my sister's stories dominated mine, reduced to footnotes. With the case resolved, I breathed easier, the triumph a rebuke to their entitlement. Holden wrapped the file. Case closed? You're free." The severance felt final, a necessary cut from toxic roots. The DA's arraignment proceeded without hitches, with my family entering not guilty pleas to the felony counts. Holden monitored from the sidelines, ensuring our civil judgment aligned with the criminal proceedings. My sister attempted a sidebar negotiation through her attorney offering partial repayment in exchange for dropping support for the prosecution. "It's the least you can do," her message relayed. I refused outright. "They face what they earned," I told Holden. The refusal stirred final echoes of exclusion like family meetings, where my input on finances was ignored. My sister's voice always amplified instead. A last-minute twist came from the prosecutor's update my parents had tried bribing a witness, caught on tape adding obstruction charges under Georgia's criminal code. The evidence sealed their fate, pushing plea deals forward. I felt a surge of closure, transforming lingering doubts into solid affirmation of my stand. They accepted the deals mid-trial, my father getting probation and restitution orders, my mother community service, and my sister a deferred sentence with mandatory financial counseling. The judge enforced full asset disclosure, revealing hidden stocks worth $40,000, liquidated to fund my damages. Holden closed the file with a grin. "Total win. Your trust is funded, and they're monitored." Kendall sent a congratulatory note. "Proud of how you handled it." The outcome empowered me against past diminishments, like when my career milestones were met with skepticism, while my sisters were heralded as breakthroughs. I invested the recovered funds into professional development courses, advancing my role in app development. My mother made one final outreach via certified letter. "We regret everything, give us another chance." I returned it unopened, the plea reinforcing the need for permanent distance. With the case behind me, I focused on rebuilding connections that mattered. Holden and I grew closer through the ordeal, our partnership evolving into something deeper. "Marry me," he proposed casually over dinner one evening. "We've beaten worse together." I said yes, the commitment a stark contrast to family bonds that fractured under greed. We tied the knot in a simple ceremony, Kendall as witness. The union grounded me, erasing shadows of being the perpetual underdog like school events where my parents cheered my sister louder, leaving my accomplishments in the background. I launched a small initiative through my company offering workshops on financial literacy for young professionals, from dysfunctional homes, drawing from my experiences to guide others. Participants shared stories that mirrored mine, validating the path I took. The program's first session drew a crowd with attendees praising the practical tools against scams. One woman approached afterward. "Your story inspired me to check my own records," she said. I nodded. "That's the point. Protect yourself first." The success amplified my sense of triumph, countering old insecurities from family dynamics that always positioned me as secondary. Holden supported the effort, volunteering legal tips. "This is your legacy," he noted. A surprise twist arrived via anonymous tip. My family had relocated out of state, selling assets quietly to comply, but whispers suggested ongoing schemes elsewhere. I reported it to authorities, ensuring oversight under interstate fraud agreements. The move cemented my detachment, freeing energy for positive pursuits. As life stabilized, I reflected on the journey's lessons during quiet moments with Holden. "Greed erodes trust faster than anything," I told him. "But standing firm rebuilds it elsewhere." He agreed. "You've proven that." The insight stemmed from enduring dismissals, like my innovative projects at work overlooked in family chats, while my sister's routine updates stole the spotlight. With the no-contact order in place, peace settled in. I expanded the workshops online, reaching more people. Kendall collaborated on modules. "This helps so many," she said. The fulfillment outweighed the pain, turning betrayal into a catalyst for growth. My husband and I planned ahead, focusing on our shared future without the weight of toxic ties. If this story hits home, share how you've dealt with similar family issues in the comments. Thanks for sticking with me through it all. Your support means everything. Hit subscribe to catch more tales of turning the tables and finding strength.